Hello, my tabletop nemesis. Today, I'm going to show you how I go about painting a Chaos plasma gun. So in this case, we're doing a Trader Guard plasma pistol for a Trader Guard chieftain. And first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a bottle of Corax White, base Corax White. Now, I like to do this before I actually paint around the gun itself, because what it is the process of doing this can be a little bit messy. So basically, I try my best to not put too much white where I don't want it. But essentially, the main thing is just I'm doing this so that way when I actually paint the gun itself, it's not going to have so much that I need to cover up. So basically, I'm still trying my best to get right into the plasma coils, I believe is what it's called. And sometimes it might take one or two coats, but main thing is just get in there and get it all nice and covered. Now it looks like you want to try and get all up in between the stuff. Let's see, I think there's a little, there we go. Yeah. That looks like it's turned out pretty good. Pretty thick overall. Now, basically give that a minute to dry. But I've gone ahead and pre-prepared some Everland Sunset that I've watered down to be not necessarily transparent, but rather watered down enough that it allows that white base to show through to some extent to create almost that translucency effect. Now, I got my advice for doing plasma weaponry from, again, a man at my local gaming shop who's been doing this a lot longer than I have, and it's absolutely great advice. So, as can be seen, the gun itself is now completely covered, so it looks like I'm going to need to go ahead and do one more coat, because again, the goal is to try and get that nice and white to create that under layer. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any Troll Slayer orange on me, but I do have another way of creating that orange kind of warp energy based look that Chaos Plasma weapons typically tend to have. And what I do is, after I apply the Everland Sunset and I get what I like, I take some Evil Sun's Scarlet layer, and then I water it down a little bit more, and I put it over the yellow after it's dried. And it creates a really nice, basically stand-in orangey kind of look. In fact, while we're letting that dry for a minute, I'll show you a previous one I've done with this Trader Guardsman. It's a little hard to see. I'm trying to get enough light here. But you'll see that his gun has a very nice orange plasma coil. And that was from doing what I did earlier. That created kind of that stand-in effect. So, I mean, that's just very... It turned out beautifully. Like, honestly, this is great. So, enough self-promotion or mindless self-indulgence. But see, now we've got that nice, and I think it should be dry enough to go ahead to the next phase. Now, mind you, when I mix these up, unless I'm doing a lot of plasma, I don't put too much in there. But you can see it's kind of somewhat translucent because of a lot of the moisture I put into it to really kind of help with that. So now I'm going to take this more precise kind of brush here, and first I'm going to get the Everland Sunset. And again, main thing is to start very, very light. There we go. Oh, yeah. See, just ever so lightly. My main goal is to get it between the plasma coils and to get it nice and in there. Now, when I'm doing the Everland Sunset, I try to go over more like over the actual like top areas, not into the recess. Because again, the main goal is to create like that composite like look where you can clearly see some contrast. Oh yeah. Now, you can kind of see there, it's already coming together Now, I might go over it just a little bit more, just because I like to be nice and sure. But again, I don't want to lose sight of that white underneath. I want to try and just keep like a nice, even contrast, because they work together in a nice little balance. See? Nice, pretty balance. Nice, pretty balance. Oh, yeah. That is coming together great. I myself still have a lot to learn, but I love sharing these little tips because I didn't have the orange to do this the way I wanted to, but through creativity and, really just analyzing and thinking about how I was going to move forward, I was able to come up with a nice little solution to the problem. I'm going to get a little bit more to kind of put in this middle area up top. There we go. There we go. It's ever so subtle. But like, that's the beauty of this, is just taking your time and really just making sure it meets your own standards. I'm a flawed perfectionist. I know it may never be 100% perfect, but dadgummit, I'm going to try. Oh, yeah. Now let's give that a minute to dry. But you'll see I tried to get as much into the recesses on top as I can. Because again, the yellow is kind of like, you got the white that's thick underneath that just comes straight out of the bottle. But then you have the yellow that goes over it, and it creates like that lighter kind of translucent contrast. Oh, a little extra plastic there when I was doing some stuff. Let me try it away real quick. Alrighty. Now let me go ahead and start taking a look at my scarlet here momentarily, but first let me zoom in to make sure you're getting a good look at that. See? Like, that's what I want. That is what I want. Like, you can clearly see that it's got that yellow watered down base over the white, but you can clearly see that it's not overwhelming. Exactly what I want. Exactly what I want. Okay. Now, let's go to the scarlet. Okay. Now again, with the scarlet, I'm going to kind of just run it over initially, because I'm not trying to, so I might kind of bleed it just a little bit, but I want to try and get it over, mostly just over the recesses. That is my main goal. Now initially, it might look a little more red, but from the last time I did this, it kind of, you got to let it dry a minute. And it should hopefully come out perfectly as before. I kind of see it creating an almost orangey kind of look. The main thing, I'm not sure if I'm just imagining it, but I feel like the top here kind of is looking a little more white than I want it. Let's just give it a minute. I'll get just a little bit more red. There we go. Nice little red. Bit of red. There we go. And again, I'm not trying to overwhelm it. And sometimes if it gets a little too in there, what I'll do is I'll clean off my brush. I'll dry it out. And then I'll just kind of dab it on there a little bit and kind of just see how it, see if I can absorb up some of that little extra moisture. As you can kind of see, it's a little more red right now, and it's a little hard to see how it's done. So let me go ahead and dry out this brush, and we're going to try and clean up around the edges. Okay, yeah, there we go. We're going to get a nice little point, so I'm going to try and have a little accuracy here. So I'm going to just kind of, there we go. Because the thing is, I don't want too much where it's overwhelming. I want it to have just that right kind of mixture. And for me, this is sometimes still a little new. So just bear with me here. Oh, yeah. It's already creating that more orangey kind of look. Now, again, we might need to go over it just a little bit in some areas. But I think overall, it is shaping up. So what I might go ahead and do, let's give that a little bit more of a minute to dry. There we go. Let's see there. Oh yeah, it's looking orangey, but what I'm seeing here is what looks like a little bit of primer underneath showing through. Potentially. I'm not sure what I did wrong there. Maybe I didn't wait long enough for it to dry. I'm kind of rushing this process just a little bit. But what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit more yellow and just kind of baby the top here a little bit. Well, this little central kind of area. There we go. Because again, it's okay. This is more watered down, so it's okay to kind of go back over it a little bit. Kind of reinforces it a little bit, if you will, I'd like to say. Almost like what I imagine when I hear people say you got to thin your paints. So it's not looking bad. It's not looking bad. Again, let's try to just make sure it's all nice and taken care of. There we go. So another thing I believe I did was after I kind of got it somewhere where I felt comfortable with it, I took a shade of Cassandora Yellow and just kind of put that over, and I think that really helped seal the deal, so to speak. So let's put that down for a second. Okay. Go ahead and read my brush. I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit more scarlet, just a little bit more scarlet. Because again, the whole point is take your time, take your time. The main thing is when you're kind of improvising with this little technique, you just got to take your time, not overdo it. There we go. Oh yeah, it's already kind of, I'm already starting to see the vision there. Oh yeah, there we go. It's already kind of coming together. There we go. Exactly what I want to see, exactly what I want to see. There we go. Now, if you can kind of, I'm hoping I got enough where you can see it, but you can start to see it's come together more orangey. It's creating more of that kind of contrast I want to see. And I don't know why. I keep thinking it's looking black, but it's got to be just my eyesight getting worse. But you can clearly see it's starting to create that orangey kind of effect. And before we end, I'll kind of go around it a little bit with some Iron Warriors to show you how I cleaned it up and to kind of give you a better look. But that is most certainly coming out a lot better. So let me go ahead. I'm gonna start cleaning up around it, show you what I was talking about doing it first before actually painting your weapon itself. So I take some Iron Warriors here, just a little bit initially. Then I take a look. And I go ahead, let's just start cleaning up a little bit around it, just to kind of clean up that stuff that might be making it a little hard to kind of see what the vision here is. There we go. Clean up. I'm sure we've all heard that little jingle at one point in our youth. There we go. Okay. So you kind of see it cleaning up a little bit more there. There we go. And sometimes it never hurts just to learn from little mistakes we might do here and there. As a great artist once said, there are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. And sometimes it might take a minute. It's all right. But as you can kind of see, as we're letting it the main deal dry as we're kind of cleaning up around it, it really is starting to get that more orange kind of look. So let's just keep on cleaning. There we go. Now let's go ahead and, oh yeah. I think that'll be enough cleaning for now until I'm really properly ready to continue. So look at that. That is looking fantastic. Now mind you, I did this with a base of Corax White straight out of the bottle, and then I took some Avalanche Sunset and I put quite a bit of water into it to make it a little bit more translucency. Same with the Evil Sun's Scarlet layer. But it's already looking a lot closer to what I want. So now with that, I'm going to take a little bit, just a little bit, of Cassandora Yellow Shade. Just a little bit. We're not trying to overdo this. Just enough to kind of help it along a little bit. There we go. Oh, yeah. I'm starting to see it come together a little bit more. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There we go. Oh, yeah. That is looking awesome. Now again, and if there's little areas you got to touch up, like I keep thinking I'm seeing a spot there, but maybe that's just my vision. But if there's little areas you got to touch up, there's nothing wrong with just going back over a little bit. As I said, you know, this is still a little new to me, but I have done it, and sometimes it just takes a little time to dry. But I'm already starting to see that more orangey kind of glow come out, and it's looking beautiful. It's looking beautiful. So let me go ahead and try to get you some better light on that. I've been struggling to keep the light looking good, and that's a little, ooh, it's ruffling my jimmies a bit. All right, so let me try to adjust this little holder I got the phone on. All right, now let's try to get a better look at that. I'm making it easy there, buddy. Okay. But if you can kind of see it a little better, you can see that there's more of it. It's starting to develop that more orangey look that was on the, there we go, a little better, a little better. It's starting to develop more of that orangey look that you saw in my previous model. Now I wish I could get this to work a little better, but it's turning out really good. So this was just supposed to be a little rundown on making chaos plasma weaponry in such a way that maybe it could kind of help others who are trying to learn this a little bit more, because originally I first started with blue plasma because I wasn't aware of chaos plasma. Yeah, but this turned out really good too, but I used the lessons I learned from a gentleman at my card shop who mostly runs Eldar. And he gave me some really good tips on plasma, and so I just kind of used the lessons he had taught me to, again, side-by-side comparison, come back and do chaos plasma. And again, it's turned out really good. I'm loving it. And I can't wait to finish the model that this is meant for. It'll look really good. And let's go ahead and compare him with the other one I done on the Trader Guardsman. But you can start to see that it's coming together. I think it just needs to dry a little bit more, but it is certainly turning out the way it's supposed to. And that, my tabletop nemesis, is how you make chaos plasma with Averland Sunset, Corax White, and Evil Sun's Scarlet layer, as well as some Cassandora Yellow Shade. And with that, I wish you all a great night, and, luck in your future grimdark tabletop endeavors. Have a good day.